times. So I'm with you. I think that's going to be a challenge for NAVI Junior to overcome. That said, they have a lot of damage going down the line. So even if Lifestealer is farmed, I farmed mid tiny plus a bristle. The bristle went snot rocket though instead of the seeing red, so there's less damage there. Everything. Yeah, do they actually have enough then?
Because like they'll have Coco Rum, Scorched Earth, they'll be able to remove most of the skeletons. You know, through the rage, Tiny, most of his damage is not going to apply because he's playing mid, right? Not going to be building like the super early Revenant's Brooch or whatever.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I don't know. I feel like Natsumi, past a certain point, just doesn't die in this game.
I definitely agree that there's a real possibility of that, but it's going to take a while to get there. That's always the Lifestealer conundrum, is that, oh my god, this is such a good Lifestealer game, and then you'd kind of do nothing for 15 to 20 minutes, and then you have to still be in a game state where the hero is useful. That's why we don't see it picked all that often, but I really do like the pick here. I think it might have been the single best hero that was left for Talon, so good on them for finding it.
Well, the horn will now sound. Nobody found anything with their early rotations. The usual wards have been planted out. Well, they didn't get a mid ward from the side of Talon, but doesn't really matter. They got this intriguing river ward instead of on the high ground. So we'll scout out these runes, and now we are underway. So, oh, they do have a mid ward. I didn't see it, my bad. So talk to me about these lanes. Where are we seeing the kills happening first?
Well, what's really the most volatile lane? Probably top, right? I know it's Lifestealer, and you could consider that hero very stable in lane, but between Shadow Shaman and Bristleback, this is a potential kill central lane even, especially against the Cuckoo Ringmaster. He needs to be careful with playing too aggressively. Ringmaster loves to get up close and personal and play hyper aggressive against the other support, but once Zayats hits level 2, with Shackles and Shock and some goo and quill spray, you're gonna find yourself on the receive again. And your box does not save you from Bristle. That's worth keeping in mind. The quills are physical damage, so when you're inside the box, they still do full damage. The mitigation does not come into play against this particular hero. Yeah, we'll see. I don't think we'll have too many kills in the early game. Unfortunately for you. I know you love your late kills very much. But
No, I've grown to accept that when you're on the mic with me, we're just going to have some peace, you know? Armistice treaties have been passed.
it hasn't been that slow.
Yesterday was pretty slow, bro. We only had like the one super action-packed game, but remember we had 3 games yesterday that the first blood only happened at like 4 or 5 minutes.
Yeah, is that bad? I don't know. I think it's okay. We've had worse patches for that.
What's the slowest patch you think we've had, actually?
Probably the rubber band patch, right? The one where you got insane amounts of combat gold. Then people just started playing ultra late game heroes. Yep. I think that's the worst. In terms of like overall fairness, that's probably the worst balance the game has had in my memory of Dota 2. But you know, it's also hard to remember 10 years ago, right? It's been a long time at this point. Alright, nice sidestep from Niku. Just gonna get the water rune for free. And yeah, the lanes are just a wash, right? I don't think anyone is pulling ahead by a significant margin. I don't think that was to be expected either. So both teams will just stabilize and be off to a solid start on every hero.
PMA just gonna have this way, farm it out. They block with the creep camp here. Down bottom, some pressure going on to Got the Juice. WS wants to chase him. Does he have enough damage? A little bit more is needed, but unfortunately, Ridis is there with the Icarus dive. Now it's WS that's in danger instead. Not enough. Ridis at the moment is only level 2. Does eat up Dual Breath, and now Got the Juice going back, but the wand from Yocam will save him for now with the Fairy Fire. They do end up finding Got the Juice. First blood going the way of Talon Esports. The debate play from WS and Yocam works out in the end.
Yeah, both teams were kind of floating around on 10% there. That was a very close exchange, but Talon do take advantage of the fact that Phoenix is not the best hero level 2. Level 3 is when this hero gets a ton stronger in the lane. You double the damage of Fire Spirits. It's one of the most powerful level ups of any support, I would say, is hitting that exact benchmark on Phoenix. He has it now, so this should change the dynamic quite a bit. But yeah, good recognition from Talon there that they were able to push through on that second initiation from Jokum on the Jakiro.
Other side of the map, we did see Natsumi experiencing some pressure here. Now the pressure's going to be applied to Cuckoo, but Zayax will not have enough mana to be able to throw out the shackles, unfortunately. And they're going to go forward. He does have it now, but can he make this happen? They do eventually find the kill onto Cuckoo, and maybe they double up and find Natsumi. There are the shackles after he gets the mana, eating the Lotus. And it's going to be good enough to secure a double kill for PMA on this Bristleback. You were right about the potential of having the Zayax Shadow Shaman in tandem with this BB.
It's a really good time to kill them as well. There was a full wave in the tower, so Cuckoo will take some of the experience here from said tower, but yeah, the Lifestealer is going to lose a lot of farm from this exchange, and you can see now he's going to be 350 behind the Bristle. And I guess, you know, NAVI Junior did expend all of their resources here, but even Bristleback is one of the heroes in the offlane that I think you actually don't mind buying mangoes on too much, because the payoff that you get from mangoes is second to none for offlane heroes. So if you need to get a little bit extra refill, you can burn the gold on that, because you know it's going to pay off in terms of pressure.
Speaking of pressure, some of it was being applied towards WS down bottom, but shout out to Yokam having the level 2 dual breath. What a spell dual breath has become. So good. So stops him from regression. He's a bit far forward, but he should be fine.
I think, you know, some people, especially, it's been a couple of events now where Jakiro has been rated really highly, and I guess some people are a little bit sick of seeing it at this point, but I'm happy to see Jakiro finally be viable, right? It seemed like years that this hero was barely picked, and we're actually at a point now where even some teams are experimenting with it offlane, such as AVULUS playing it on Zibe, so I think it's cool. And also, even if the hero's popular, the win rate isn't broken, right? It's like 50-50, so it's in a good spot. Except in this game, he's dead, but, you know, he's in a good spot as a hero. Riddis will die. Trade-off from WS.
Well, you cast the curse of the Jakiro, but he got his kill first. Found the experience that they needed.
Fine.
Oh, the guy I started casting with way back in the day. I hope he's watching right now. Shout out to St. D. Jakiro's always been his favorite hero, so he must be ecstatic watching Dota at the moment. Mid lane, here in the river, we do see some shackles out onto Cuckoo. He came middle at the wrong time. He found a tiny, instead of finding a rune, ends up dead, giving gold towards Niku. That's definitely going to feel good, especially because he was behind in the CS department in the laning phase.
Yeah, it's slightly behind against the Kunkka. I think that's pretty standard, though. Kunkka loses to very few heroes in general, but especially the melees in mid, there's like... I'm trying to think of who he would even lose to, except something like maybe Monkey King. I don't know what it would even be, so... Against Tiny, if you draw, I think Niku should be pretty happy overall. This is not that bad.
He's chilling.
Top tower fell. 645.
Wait, what?
Okay.
They don't even have the level 6 available on Zayax. He's level 3. How did that happen? Did they just muscle them out of the lane this hard? Damn.
I mean, they had the siege creep, right, from the 5-minute wave, but I did not expect them to be able to follow through this hard on the push. That's kind of crazy, actually. And Natsumi is now resorting to farming the jungle for the time being. So,
nice.
You know, this is a pretty big start top for NAVI Junior. This is better than I was expecting. They find the 2 kills for the Bristle and then get a 6-minute 45 tower. Might be one of the fastest in the entire game. WS takes some damage bottom, but they'll fend them off easily.
And a blood grenade. Actually, Riddis might die here, but they brought in Zayax to turn it around onto WS, and WS did get the kill, but will certainly fall thereafter. Yokam, can he get out of here? Perhaps, but definitely not got the juice, because Mikoto showed up to make sure that they had the necessary damage. Yokam doesn't die either. The boat with the ice path crashes through onto Zayax. With the Tidebringer cleave, Mikoto secures a double kill. The Coco Rum kept the Jakiro alive, and NAVI Junior suffer heavy losses in this bottom lane skirmish.
Yeah, that's just a good rotation from Mikoto. That pretty much salvaged that situation. I guess Niku couldn't respond. I don't know if he had enough mana to really go for a counterplay, but the good news for him is he just picked up an amplified damage rune. So now he will definitely be kill hungry and looking for a potential angle. Killing WS here would be big. He just TP'd back to lane, but a nice defensive ward from Jokin will spot it out immediately. And this play is unlikely to be successful. He's level 6 on Jakiro, oh my god. That's fast. Minute 8. That's good news.
He has been involved in 4 kills, right? So
yeah,
got a ton of experience. Oh, that rotation unfortunately didn't pan out, but Niku's still sticking around. he hasn't actually vacated the area just yet. So he's gonna try for something. They're going on to Got the Juice. They're baiting with the Wraith King, but he gets doomed. He might die before the team even arrives. And his HP pool is gone. Will he get the ultimate? Oh, will he get it? Yes, go! At the very last moment, Joker barely able to escape away from this on the east side. And of course, WS gets zoned back. They keep this Wraith King alive, but honestly, still a win for Talon. You bait out the ultimate. Niku is still down bottom. And maybe they can find a kill top lane onto this Bristleback, and indeed they should be able to. Blood Grenade slowing him down, not to me finding the right clicks. And thank you for being so overfarmed, Bristleback. I'm gonna take that gold right back. In the meantime though, Niku reveals yet again down bottom, he has not left the area. WS will finally take a tumble. So across both lanes, offlaners do go down.
I love moments like that one on Wraith King. I love when people clutch out a level up. I think that's some of the cooler moments that you see in Pro Dota, and Wraith King is one of the special heroes that can actually do it after dying. He just barely, he got one final CS right before he died. He instantly leveled Reincarnation. He had to spam click it basically to make that in time, and just narrowly got it off and got the ult. As you mentioned, they don't manage to kill Jakiro off of it though, but that's still the highlight for the game for me was, Wraith King dies and he just starts CSing. It just looks so funny, but it was easily the best play there.
Sadly, he does not have Reincarnation now, so this could lead to his death. Makoto making his way bottom. What a nice path from Yokan. Sets them up for the X onto Niku. The boat will crash into a Macropie. He does dodge it for a little bit, but now with the Wheel of Wonder from Cuckoo, there's no way out of this one, my friend. They do find the kill onto the Tiny. WS chasing for more, but everybody else from Navi has backed off. So Talon once more get a kill, defend their tower, do not allow further advantage for Navi.
It's a pretty big rotation to bring 4 heroes for that, but feels overall worth it, I guess. They will concede a 10-minute rune, so 2 runes back-to-back for NAVI Junior, but this one's just a regen onto Shaman, which is rather inconsequential here. He didn't really get to use it for much. So, yeah, it's still a very stable game currently. The big winner in all of this is, of course, Mikoto. He's really starting to create some distance on the mid Kunkka. He's going to have Blade Mail in just a moment. He's 1,000 hit of the other core, so that's basically the gold lead of the game is him. The rest of the lineups are pretty even.
Very, very farmed right now. See some contestation bottom. They want to try and make sure that the Siege Dragon doesn't put too much pressure on the tower. Yokam, of course, will pepper it with the liquid fire as much as he can, but we'll see if they get caught out here, because Niku wants to come bottom and maybe punish. Unfortunately, there is an observer ward that scouted this rotation, so there's no way they get caught out. I must say, their defensive wards down bottom to protect WS from these Niku rotations have been really, really good, exploiting the fact that he can't really go top, right? Lifestealer's in the jungle, so it's kind of a wasted rotation to move there.
It's, for all intents and purposes, it's just very stable right now, right? Doesn't feel like either team is generating too much of an advantage. The only player, once again, who's really trying and continuing to do so right now is Mikoto, trying to steal some Radiant stacks here, feeling very confident with his True Bracer Blade Mail to walk in and steal some of the stacks over here, and was successful in getting a couple. For the side of NAVI Junior, you're probably chilling a little bit and trying to wait for Niku to get his blink. That will be the game changer. 12-minute rune. They cannot contest Mikoto. They just have to hope it's bottom, but it will be. All right. A little bit of good fortune for Niku, but he's actually hesitating to grab it because of the Jakiro, so doesn't get it regardless. Really good news is that's an illusion on a Kunkka. That's the worst one. So
literally does nothing. They might still go into the jungle though. Makoto and Yokam are maybe looking for a backstab opportunity. Radiant Scan will trigger onto them, so certainly not going to connect onto anybody. I will say that the way that this game has slowed down, I think both teams are probably okay with it, but Natsumi is probably ecstatic because he was getting dumpstered. But this time that he's not been able to spend in the lane, just quietly gathering a couple of waves here and there, getting back in the jungle, his team drawing attention to both bot and middle. Taking attention away from Natsumi does allow him to recover what was lost in the laning phase, which definitely Talon will be quite happy about.
Yeah, that's overall, he is probably the happiest player in the game right now, especially if he gets this pick. It'd be a pretty big kill. I think they should practically give it to him.
Don't do it.
Nope, never mind.
Come on, Makoto.
Mid players, what can you do? More wants more. You know how it works. Just like in real life.
Well, Dota's an allegory for capitalism, I wear, bro.
Well, it's Pretty much is, yeah. When you think about it. Oh, they find the Tiny as well. Niku. Uh-oh. Oh, they're not committing here. I thought they were going to just drop everything on him to force rotation, but just poking and prodding, nothing more on the side of Talon.
They are going to draw rotation towards middle.
Mikoto. Is Zayat's going to find an angle? No, not quite.
Yes. Everything's fine. Both towers now are about similar levels of HP. Of course, there is level 6 available from the Shadow Shaman, so if he ever deploys the wards, they should be able to bring it down. But overall, people still just farming and chilling. With the bottom tower being down, WS has already picked up his drums, has his phase boots, double bracer. What do you think you want to see from him? Midas into what for the Doom?
I don't even know if he should go Midas. I actually think rushing Shiva here is very good. When you have drum phase in a game like this, Shiva BKB, I think would be nice in that order. But I was considering Sanjin Yasha as another build path, and that's actually what he just queued up. I didn't want to say it though, because I don't really like it. But, you know, it maybe, you know, WS as a player strikes me a little bit more as a carry type in the way that he itemizes on the heroes that he plays. So I guess this fits the bill for him to go for that Sanjin Yasha. It reminds me a little bit of Amar in that regard. Also, the only player to play offlane Marcy, which is kind of a carry type offlaner. I could see why he loves his Sanjin Yasha here on the Doom. It's alright, don't get me wrong. I don't think it's a bad purchase. It's just a different approach entirely, where I would have liked to see the Shiva to amp up the Kunkka, to amp up the Jakiro and the Ringmaster, and then Lifestealer will bring the hits later. Actually going for Deso on the Lifestealer, since Kunkka will be getting Radiance.
He did smoke up to try and punish him as they saw him bottom. They wanted to reveal this Blink Dagger from the Tiny. Niku's trying to close him down, but they don't have a clear idea of where he's at. And there is still a tier 1 tower to play onto. Natsumi, will he sense this gank coming is the question.
Oh,
he will not.
Slow.
He gets hexed. He will get caught out. Will he die? Yes, he will. No response available from Talon Esports. Unfortunate, and it does seem like they were actually clearly setting up for that. We'll see if they still intend to try and counter this. PMA has now also made his way down bottom, throws out some snot onto Yokam. Makoto just getting himself away. The escape back will try to keep the Jakiro alive for now. He gets hexed, caught inside the ward trap. This should kill him, especially with the Supernova diving forward. Niku blinked up. He doesn't have Avalanche though when he gets doomed underneath the tier 1 tower, but there's just no follow-up. Makoto throws in the torrent, but it's just to try and cover the retreat. PMA says no, however. He jumps beyond the tier 1 tower, trying to chase down WS. He knows that the defensive spells are down, and he will find the kill. Beautifully done by this Bristleback. In the meantime, the rest of his team was able to leverage the Master Rewards and the right clicks of Wraith King to grab the tier 1 tower. So 2 for nothing, a tier 1, and a very good reveal on this Blink Dagger for Niku.
I think this fight is a great illustration of what we were talking about earlier with damage, right? Talon they don't have burst at any time. So Bristleback's kind of free to walk in. Wraith King feels very safe. You end up dooming the Tiny out of desperation to try to disengage, but there's just snot everywhere. Everyone's slowed down to a crawl. PMA rushed the pipe, so you have even less damage. I actually think Talon can't teamfight right now, which is a kind of a bad look when you're running a mid Kunkka, but realistically speaking, who are you killing when Bristle is frontlining with a pipe? Even if you doom him, he's still going to pipe, and you're going to stabilize the fight. And now after this death, Natsumi having second thoughts about the death, so they're going to go double Radiant?
Double Radiance. Yeah. I was literally about to ask you about that. Like, how do I don't feel good about this personally.
This seems like an afterthought. Like, they were both wanting to go Radiance, and then Natsumi was like, oh, you're getting Radiance, bro? Alright, I'll get Deso. And then he dies the one. He's like, okay, I actually need Radiance for myself to play in this game. And now Mikoto is caught in an awkward spot where he already bought the Talisman of Evasion, so he can't pivot anymore. I think if he hadn't bought the Talisman but was saving for the Relic first, he might just, you know, divert into some other build like Ags or other utility like Shiva, maybe. But at this point, not the case. And I think Navi Junior are kind of just going to be running with this next 5 to 10 minutes. You feel almost invincible. I would love to see them just take, you know, go for Roach too. Why not? Like, what's going to stop you at this point?
Well, they caught your memo, gang. They've already pinged out the Roshan. Yeah. Heading towards the pit right now. Zayax has access to the ultimate. PMA is heading over and got the juice, just finished the Deso. This is perfect timing to head into the Roshan pit.
He was eyeing up Radiance
coming.
himself earlier as well, and then he switched. So both teams changing their approaches respectively.
Alright.
One dropping the
change back.
Deso for Radiance, and the other vice versa.
Nah, he changed back, Natsumi. He changed back. They do get their Roshan, but can they take the subsequent fight? Wheel of Wonder in tandem with the boat will connect, and Niku's gonna take quite a bit of damage, but will he die? Makoto in through the fight. Blade Mail active. Escape back will keep him alive as Natsumi shows up, trying to put the right-click damage out onto these heroes, but they're just not dying. Big Fire Spirits going forward. There's gonna be an Infest Bomb, but it's just not enough. The Avalanche from Niku on the back edge of the fight makes sure that nobody can move. It's a triple kill for PMA with the quills flying everywhere. The shackles out onto Cuckoo. No escape allowed for the Ringmaster, even with the Tame the Beast. You can try as much as you want, my friend. Niku has a blink. They have the damage, and they found 4 kills. Don't even drop the Aegis. And now it's Tier 2 Tower beckons towards NAVI Junior.
This is where I think some of the higher echelon teams in this tournament would give that Roche up. I think this is just a pretty costly mistake for Talon. It wasn't even poorly executed necessarily the way they approached that fight. I just think the numbers are against you too much. It's just a mathematical loss to try to take this fight, and it's NAVI Junior are going to capitalize massively. Instead of getting the Roche, they get Roche and another 3,500 gold plus waves pushed out. So let's call it a 4K win plus Aegis that Talon gave them. That was not a necessary fight. And as you mentioned, the Lifestealer turned back for the Deso, so what did he really show up to the fight with? He had an armlet. They're just laughing and shrugging him off. Like, nobody cares that Lifestealer's attacking them, you know? It just doesn't matter yet. He's not a threat. Kunkka has half a Radiance. So really, you had another like 3,000 to 4,000 dead gold on Talon too heading into that. So you were really far behind.
For me, the crazy part as we're looking at that replay is the fact that Ridis had his Supernova on the high ground. So it was actually a whiffed Supernova. He does have shots, so the Sunray was decent, but they didn't get that big stun. He only came through with the second round of Fire Spirits after the Supernova went. So that was one of the better case scenarios for Talon, and they still got absolutely nothing out of it. But
yeah.
At least they have the Deso now on Natsumi, and they almost have the Rads on Kunkka. So the next fight, okay, he has it now. It's flying in, Radiance done, Deso done. I'm not saying they're going to win the next fight, but it definitely can't get worse than the last one.
This is a big help, of course, but yeah, once again, if you hadn't taken the Roche fight, this would be a 2 to 3k lead instead of the 7, and you would have the same items, and then you could take the moment of opportunity. So now, it's definitely going to be tough still. And Makoto with a 20-30 Radiance with the start he had is quite a disappointing result, I would say, because he was snowballing super hard and just lost some of the progression from that team fight they just took, as well as the one prior. So we'll see. This looks like a very good hero. Toss back into Sunray.
He's gone. Makoto shows up though with the X mark onto
This is a
Niku.
haste of time. They have to Doom him. They will.
Right? Doom is out. They're gonna get in the Ghost Ship as well. Wheel of Wonder gonna be committed, and they do find the kill. However, Got the Juice also shows up on the back gauge, looking towards killing the Doom. Unfortunately, with the Escape Act, realizes he does have to back off. PMA, now that he knows Escape Act is down, they want to chase down Cuckoo. Nice Tame the Beast for the back fear.
Oh,
but the shackles onto WS! Holding him in position. There will be a follow-up Wraithfire Blast. Although the Infest Bomb comes in for their bonus heal, it will be enough to keep him alive. Life taken away by PMA underneath the Tier 1 tower, or Tier 2 tower. So at the Aegis gone right now. Torrent will connect as well. Yokam has finally respawned. Ice Path, Macropire thrown in onto the Bristleback. Got the Juice, blinks back onto the Kunkka. With the Ward Trap from Zayax, they're able to bring down Makoto. Got the Juice will end up committing at least a life though underneath the Tier 2. Escape back will buy the Ringmaster time. On the other side of the fight, Lifestealer trying to chase down Zayax. Not going to be able to do so. Can Got the Juice escape. Very nice Icarus dive with the slows from Ridis, but there is still damage from Natsumi. Unfortunately, he doesn't have rage any longer. He can't keep this going. He needs to get out, but with the Hex Sunray, he cannot. He dies. Another shackles onto Cuckoo. Make sure he goes down as well. What an elongated fight, and after all is said and done, Talon Esports lose, what, 5 heroes in total? They do manage to take down 3 plus the Aegis, but in the end, not worth it, because you're also going to lose a Tier 2 tower, most likely, off the back of this.
Maybe the tower will stay, but yeah, I mean, regardless, it's a great win there for NAVI Junior, especially considering how that fight started. You traded away your Tiny for Chikiro, which is a pretty bad trade. You got doomed and still ended up dying with all the disengagement tools used. They used Sunray, they used Phoenix Supernova to try to save Tiny. It was not successful, and Bristle died under the tower seemingly for nothing. But then as the fight kept developing, NAVI Junior had enough in the tank with the Aegis. And in the following fight coming up next, PMA will have a Lotus Orb for himself. And that's a really big item here, getting rid of a ton of the garbage that's going to be coming his way from Jakiro in particular. I believe you can also remove the Impalement Arts, right? That is dispellable. So yeah, you can get rid of those too with the Lotus. So yeah, some nice upgrades here for the side of NAVI Junior. Wraith King also got 4 kills, I think. Not all the last hits, but I think he got 4 charges on his Deso there. So, at least a couple extra. Might have had some of them already from the Roche fight earlier. But the ramp up is in full effect.
On the bright side, Natsumi also got a couple of Deso charges out of that. You know, it's something. It's something. They still got to keep their tier 2 tower mid, still at their tier 2 bottom. Although the tier 2 bottom is going to take some abuse right now. Mass open wards being deployed by Zayats. And Talon, when do you think they'll actually be ready to take a fight on their own terms in this game?
That is a pretty big question. That's tough to answer. When you're this far behind in this game state, I think on your terms is a bit of a pipe dream right now. I think in order to get a fight on your terms, we're talking, you know, you get some sort of smoke surprise jump, and then the fight plays out in your favor.
There's a smoke surprise jump. It goes top towards the Doom. Shout out to Emperor Cinderin for the Caster's Curse. We appreciate it, gang. WS probably doesn't appreciate it as he loses his life.
What curse? I didn't say anything.
You said that they need like a surprise smoke gank, and a surprise smoke gank happened exactly as you said it, just in the wrong direction. So I'm counting that as a Caster's Curse.
That's a curse. Okay. The threshold for what's a caster curse has been lowered over the years, I see. There's a big pickup though for Talon. They get the Macropyre upgrade for Jakiro Jokim with the Aghanims. Considering how long these fights are and how scrappy they are, this can be a game-changing ability. Massive pure damage, the strong, slow, and they do have ways of keeping people in the Macropyre too. You've got the Wheel of Wonder to taunt them and keep them there. You've got the X-Mark to pull them back into it. You've got mega strong slows such as Open Wounds and Jakiro's own spells. Definitely a possibly big pickup. I think Jokim, to be honest, kind of needs to come up big here with this item purchase. When you choose this over utility items such as Force Staff and Glimmer Cape in a game like this, you want a big payoff. Because in some of the previous fights we've seen, if the Jakiro had some smaller utility items, maybe that could have saved cores, right? So now you got to pay it back with your big item.
Well, you did say it's an allegory for capitalism, so they need that ROI. You know, they've invested those stocks.
That's right.
Where is the performance? This is going to help, though. BKB for Makoto. One of the things he's struggled with is, even if he's able to go forward, he's often getting shackled, getting hexed, being not able to just stand his presence in the fight, casting a variety of spells. Now he has it. Hopefully they can avoid fighting until WS has his open.
Scanning.
Oh, you want some of this, eh? Well, look at that. Well, look at that. Take a knee, peasant. Hey! Bright and breezy.
Dota 2 have I ever solo cast? Love the reconnect.
We're back. Everybody, we're back. Everything's good. We reconnected, you know. I pulled out all the cables from the back of the computers because I was upset about the fact that Lifestealer's not doing well, but we're cool. Everything's going to be fine now. What do you make of their body language? Because whenever I cast with Lizard, he makes a lot of what you can see from the players' expressions on their faces. Can you glean any information from this right now?
Yeah, I would say Navi's players look confident. That's the main thing, which they have every reason to, right? A dominant position, they must be feeling like they're far ahead. They've taken every tier 2 tower. They have lost a single tower this game. We're 27 minutes in. They only lost the bot tier 1. So the map is wide open for them, and it's just a matter of finding picks. Speaking of, Zayats will blink across WS and run away. Horsey?
He is running. WS is chasing. I don't know about this chase, my friend. He's going to get himself shackled up right now. Sunray will come out onto WS. Niku also closing the gap. Avalanche will come in from the west side. And they find the Doombringer kill. That was a surprising chase. Zayax not done just yet. Blinks forward, forces the BKB out of Makoto. Will be X back into the boat, but he gets away with the Tumbler's Toy. The Macro Pyre from Jakiro connects onto absolutely nobody. And although they do eventually get the Rasta kill, that is a 2-for-1. And now they also find Makoto on the back edge of the fight, trying to TP out. Can he make it? No. Wraithfire Blast says you have to stay in position and you have to die and suffer this damage, my friend. 3-for-1 exchange, and all of it stemming in from a very aggressive chase from WS.
That's just, you know, when you reconnect from a pause, sometimes you just lose focus. Like, that was just not it. He chased down the Shadow Shaman for like 10 seconds without reaching him. Of course, the enemy team with full map control is going to show up. You don't have a BKB, you're going to get stunned by the Shaman, you're going to get killed. So that was another just freebie, really, for NAVI Junior. And now their lead went from 11 to 16 with that. You would think they get both Wisdoms here too, so now Bristleback's going to hit level 20 as the first hero in the entire game. This is a very big talent. He's either going to get 25 HP regen or the quill damage, probably taking HP regen when you're running with Snot Rocket. Makes him so much harder to kill. Now, without dooming him, he has 70 HP regen per second. Kind of heart levels of regen here. So, yeah, the problems just keep mounting for Talon. Honestly, go Roche, NAVI Junior. What's stopping you? Just get in there, yep. Just going to scout it out on Zayats. They can just start bringing over the heroes and continue their onslaught, even finding an Arcane Rune here. They want to grab that on anyone. Saving it for the Tiny, we would assume. And Talon will just not do it. This is a free rune.
Roshan's going to be given to them with the Roshan's banner. They also just picked up a Yule Scepter as well onto Zayat, so even more potential to set up this fight. But Talon, they don't want to let them have it. They smoke up again. We'll see if this is more successful than the previous time that this happened. This time they drilled a BKB for WS, but they're too late. Yeah. NAVI Junior are going to be the ones that smoke immediately back in the other direction. Niku blinks forward, gets the toss back onto Kubian. Nice Acropire catching in onto two heroes with the Doom being deployed onto Niku as well. And I believe this Tiny will die. He may is into the fire, will take quite a lot of damage himself, and they haven't brought down any Talon heroes just yet. Can they retreat? Wheel of Wonder covering Got the Juice and PMA. It's going to be a very difficult chase spell. Yokam attempting to TP out, not going to be allowed to do so. The Yule Scepter from Zayak says no. However, killing him did require a buyback from Nico. Talon Esports, this cannot count as anything but fight win under those conditions.
Yeah, the challenge now is the high ground push should be coming, right? Now you don't have Doom and you don't have all of your BKBs. So this was a good fight outcome in a vacuum, but the follow-up is where the real trouble's at. You didn't get rid of the Aegis on Bristle either. So he's going to be super confident just running up the high ground here together with Wraith King. Just pop the skeletons if you want on the Bone Guard after Glyph. They even have the banner. We forgot to mention that too. I think this is a lane just lost. Oh no, especially with this.
Finds the toss back onto the escape back. Can't escape from that, my friend. Like you said, PMA can do damage through the escape back anyway with the cool sprays. He gets the credit for the kill. Secure lane of Rax, and Doom doesn't have buyback. They're gonna try and poke and see if they can force it out. What? They realize he's not doing it? Yeah, they're just gonna get 2 lanes of Rax.
Another find with toss.
Oh no, God! Just TP, hoping to help mount the defense. Fortunately, that will cost them his life. Dead. Does have buyback though. They did manage to at least take away the first life from Guat the Juice, so perhaps that'll a little resonate beyond the 2 lanes of Rax. But nonetheless, these 2 lanes are going down regardless due as Talon Esports.
They might even stay for the third. Niku, or excuse me, Got the Juice does have BKB, so if he does get jumped, you can try to save him with a toss back, you can save him with a Force Staff. You just need to outlast the singular stun of Ice Path and then BKB. You take the fight. So yeah, they'll try to go for more here. Remember, there's Aegis on the Bristle. Supernova.
Indeed an Aegis. Supernova goes out. Lifestealer will destroy it with the Rage. And now Got the Juice with his BKB active. Finds himself bashed up, trying to TP out. He makes it. Niku, does he make it? Both of them are gone. May as an Aegis able to walk himself out. Ah man, you lose Phoenix, but you force the buyback out of the end laner. Hell, hashtag worth. And you still manage to claim the 2 sets. And that behind Mass Open Wards, the tier 3 tower was almost dead regardless.
This is actually quite impressive discipline from a team like NAVI Junior with the young players, right? It's clearly premeditated. It seems like without knowing their comms, they said, let's force him to fight. If Kunkka buys back, we're leaving. And they got exactly what they came for. They went in so hard on that play that if Kunkka doesn't have buyback, Talon lose the game. If he does have it, he has to use it. Okay, he used buyback, insta BKB TP out on 2 cores. And you just sacrifice the 1 support. And it's a very good result. I'll say out of all the teams that we have cast so far, you and I, in this tournament, I would, for the teams that are 0-2 right now, this is the most individually impressive performance from a team in a game. So this is a very good look for NAVI Junior heading forward in this series. I'm obviously at this point anticipating they will win this game, but potentially the series. And if they can level up, like the level of play in this series so far is definitely high enough that you could get to that 2-2 bracket and make it really interesting on the last day. So let's see if they can keep up the momentum here. But I'm definitely impressed with their overall itemization and their performances in this game. Everybody's carrying their weight. There goes the siege
Welcome,
PMA.
brother Cinderin, to the NAVI Junior hype train, my friend. It's a good ride. Pretty good place to
I've
be.
passed them before. I've sung their praises before. I do think there's a lot of potential.
They're coming for the Megas. PMA
Megas.
still has 1 minute left for the
Oh,
A
got
forward
the
by.
juice,
He's
okay.
got the juice. He gets the Raid Fire Blast onto Cuckoo, but can't stick on top of him. Instead, look at the shackles from Xayax. They're looking to try bring down the Doombringer. He gets saved by the Infest and the Escape Pack. And that buys them enough time to actually kill off Raid King. That's only life number 1. He gets doomed up for life 2, sitting inside of a Macropire. Look at the damage that Got the Juice is taking. He's gonna go down, but Niku, with the Avalanche Toss, makes sure that the Lifestealer goes with him. Carry for carry exchange right now, but they did get the Megas for NAVI Junior. Talon Esports buyback on Cuckoo. He throws in the Rod of Atos onto PMA. Torrent from Mikoto, but where is the damage? They don't have the Lifestealer. How do they control this Bristleback? He's inside the Ice Path. Dual Breath will be there, but Niku, Avalanche Toss, they're going in onto WS. Another escape back from Cuckoo. Well, 4-star back though, not enough. Yet another kill, does that buyback, and the Sunray on the 2, burning Yokam to a crisp, and the Kunkka as well. No Pirate, no Dragon, and no options. GG, well played, it's called. NAVI Junior will claim game number 1 in one of the cleanest victories that count. It's 7 games that he's played on this Ricky, but his score is 3 and 4.
Oh. I had too much faith. That's my bad. Well, statistics aren't exactly his friend here, because if he's 3 and 4 all time on Ricky, including times when Talon were doing overall better on the world stage, then this one should be even tougher. But we'll see. Let's see if they can get off to a good start. He's the hero to watch. I feel like whenever Ricky is in the game, he hogs the camera a lot. It's a fun hero to follow. It's extremely feast or famine. I think some mid games Ricky just looks atrocious, and other games he looks like the best hero in Dota. So it's fun.
I will say Dota, or at least Ricky, has gone through a very interesting evolution throughout Dota. When we first started way back in these Dota 1 days, one of the more despised heroes in the entire meta, but as time has gone on, we're just like, it's fine. You can deal with it. It's not so bad. Turns out Vision can help you win games. Invisibility is not invulnerability. I wish younger me knew that. What can you do? Speaking of...
Back when you were younger, you were invisible a lot?
Yeah, I was just off the map, bro. Farming the jungle the entire time.
Okay. Oh, Talon with
I'm not
3
even
bounties.
joking. I used to play the 20-minute jungle strat with Lifestealer. It was a great time.
Yeah, okay. I do indeed wish younger you was smarter. But it's okay. We all make mistakes, especially in our youth. A friend of mine used to always want to go jungle and stay there until he had a rapier, and then come out and fight, lose it, and lose the game. I've heard those stories from my other friends that were playing with him. Fortunately, I was never in those games, so I dodged a bullet there. But yeah, you know. It's a game and it's for fun, right? Mm-hmm. Right?
Good luck, have fun, right? 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 But like you said, it's a 3-1 trade. We had some very interesting shenanigans. NAVI Junior with the triple man block on the wave down bottom. They TP out with this Phoenix. So here we are. Like you said, mid lane is where most of the focus is going to be. It's one of those games where it doesn't really matter what happens on the other lanes. Like, there probably will be some aggression at first bloods, but if Mikoto cannot contain Niku in the lane, what can you do, right? If this puck is able to roam before you, the game just feels lost.
It's definitely going to feel difficult if the puck gets a head start, but you would not anticipate that Niku wins this lane. I don't think that's very likely. The one upside that NAVI Junior do have in this regard, though, is that the Shadow Shaman ganking is actually very good at killing Ricky mid, because he has so much long-duration lockdowns. If they could find a smoke play, perhaps, you could kill the Ricky before puck even hits 6. Ricky has pretty low health in the lane, so he is susceptible to nukes. But yeah, so far so good for Mikoto here. 9-2 to the 6-0 of the puck.
Top lane, we see now Bristleback Ringmaster into the Tiny Phoenix. Not the easiest start, of course, for the Tiny. You start with 0 armor against Bristleback. Good luck, have fun. But should still be able to get his farm for the most part here with the Phoenix dragging the waves for him. Should be fine. How do things look down bottom? Cuckoo dutifully just giving farm for this gyrocopter. So it looks like our official peace armistice is continuing in all of these games that we have to get us in.
This is still the best first. How to say it? This is a much bigger advantage in the first 2 minutes for either team than in game one. I think these first few waves are just going better for Talon. The Ricky in particular is starting to pull ahead of Puck a little bit. The Gyro is also pulling ahead of Timbersaw a little bit. Not in raw CS right now, but there's also more creeps coming Natsumi's way. So he should be overtaking. And Gyro, one of the better carries in lane against Timber as well. Worth keeping in mind here when Natsumi hits level 3 and gets 2 in Rocket Barrage with the boots. He might have some chase down potential against PMA. So you might see that exactly here. Miss the chain away. And
Some of the
Zayas will pull
heroes-
the wave.
Yep. Doing the right thing. One of my heroes I play the most on carry is Gyro, and I love seeing Timber on the other side. PMA not even bothering putting a point in reactive just yet. Top lane, Yokam will have a tree thrown at his face. He does survive with the Fairy Fire for now. He's still alive. Magic Stick, Fairy Fire, but unfortunately Ridis does have the Icarus dive with the level 2. Secures the first blood onto Yokam. Will not escape with his life from this, but definitely worth it in the long run here to make this play happen.
Yeah, for sure. Bristle also losing 1 or 2 CS, I believe, chasing him down there, so it wasn't just an even trade. Got the juice, got to stay in lane and keep farming. So it's nice for them to get the first blood, but as you can see on the raw net worth right now, the lane's definitely currently favoring Talon quite a bit. So that's the good news. This is what we wanted to see from them potentially in this game after a couple of rough early mid games in other series. I was very impressed with them when they had the game with the Prophet, and I believe it was a mid Slardar they played in that game. And they built themselves a big lead. And then ended up, I believe that was that against Xtreme? I think so. Ended up losing one team fight horribly 30 minutes in and kind of losing their entire advantage, but it was off of stuff like this, just doing well in lanes and then compounding their advantage. See if they can manage to do something similar in this game to that one.
Natsumi getting a lot
Niku
of
a bit
CS,
again.
trying to just zone PMA away, and Niku, as we say, increasing his lead in the CS department. What build do you want to see from this Ricky in this game as he scales?
I mean, are there really that many builds even when you're playing mid Ricky? I think you're usually just going some sort of form of diffusal plus shard, right? And then once you have that, you're going generally into a dispel or a defensive item, so either BKB or Manta, maybe Aghanim Scepter as part of the build too. Nice phase shift from Nico dodging the Impalement Arts in mid. Yeah, I think just standard, right? I don't know if you could do some crazy cool tech here that I'm not aware of yet. Maybe. Guess you want a nullifier too at some point, of course. Hero gets countered very hard by Ghost Scepter.
I mean, the Diffu would be great here. Nullifier is also kind of amazing in this game. Would like the off-lane WS Bristle at some point to get us a Lotus Orb, get rid of these Fire Spirits from Ridis. That would be quite nice. But for now, it is a farm fest all across the map. 6-minute runes coming up in 30 seconds. Both teams have supports in the vicinity ready to try and fight for this. Does mean that WS is spending a little bit of time alone up top, and they're going to try and exploit this by making a Zayat's rotation, but he did get scouted by the Observer Ward. They know that he's coming, so WS should not be caught off guard by this movement.
Yeah, Joachim even covering the long path around here, so they might just be pivoting this into runes, but scared of going there. Mikoto's level 6 with all of Corrosion. Very strong. Kuka just straight up showing up to mid now to push over the siege creep. I kind of like the idea of this, but unfortunately for them, the wave has already been pulled. But Mikoto with the regen is able to tank the tower indefinitely. This is really cool.
Look top's in. Zayat actually might end up losing his life here because he tried to shackle up Yokam, bring him low so that Ridis could kill him off, but unfortunately WS has a lot of damage coming in from these Quill Sprays. Level 3, baby. They secure the kill. That's 3 heroes that did show up in this side of the map, and it didn't really cost Talon. They get a free kill. Kuku got to sit middle, massaging the tower. Now they take it down entirely. Man, this is an amazing sequence of events in favor of Talon Esports.
This is such an early mid tower. Ricky takes mid tower minutes 6:30, and it's all because of the regen rune. So what he did was he grabbed the regen, and he kept tanking tower shots non-stop for his siege creep. Puck wasn't able to remove the regen from him, so he could just keep tanking, because the regen rune keeps running until you fill up, and he just takes damage at the exact correct rate for it to not heal into full, but still keeping him at like 95%. And then Cuckoo was just blasting 7 times. And they get that mid tower. That is a very nice and advanced rotation from Cuckoo to pull off, specifically because of the regen rune. Another great result here from Talon. Definitely a much, much better spot than they were in game 1.
Yep. Getting some power trades flown into the Ricky right now. Both sides of the lanes are still farming. Natsumi has his Falcon Blade. Power trades also being delivered towards him. These heroes, everything that they want for Talon Esports. Unfortunately, it's still going to take a little bit of time before they feel comfortable enough trying to make moves to do anything about this. So if you are on the side of Talon Esports, you just keep trying to apply the pressure, maybe rotate additional heroes top, try to remove that tower from the game as well.
Yeah, for sure. I don't think you do it right now necessarily. Maybe Pugna level 5 is a better time for it, but yeah. I don't think there's any reason to play slow. You're clearly stronger right now. I say that Natsumi might be in trouble down bot, shackled up.
Going for him. He does have 13 one charges though. He pops them, turns himself around, gets the call down out. Almost died to the chakra, but not enough just yet. Mikoto now making his first rotation of the game, showing up as the Ricky. They should be able to find the quick kill onto Zayax. And now that they're here with both Mikoto and Cuckoo, you can be sure they're going to try and put a little bit of additional harass on the tier 1 tower. Maybe take it outright. No Sea Dragon. It's only a flag bearer. Nah, you're not going to be able to take it. You're fine. Top lane. Can they punish this though? Because they did bring Got the Juice. But unfortunately, Bristleback is now level 6. I don't know if we can get this. Niku shows up though with the haste rune, drops the Dream Coil out, but he's still really damn tanky on him. Eventually he will fall. One can't help but think if they had an additional TP, perhaps he lives, but Ringmaster unfortunately was mid, no TP available, no escape back to bail him out, so he ends up falling.
Finally, NAVI Junior gets something going their way, but still it's Talon in a clearly commanding position here. Now also looking to take the bot tier 1 tower with Cuckoo. I think they will be making their next move to top as we predicted. So yeah, we wanted to see the aggression coming out from Talon and not just sit back and slow play the game and let NAVI Junior put the tempo. That seems to be what Talon recognized after game 1 and really trying to triple down on it themselves, playing even more early aggression than NAVI Junior were able to last game. And Bristleback is the ideal hero for a situation like this. He is this farmed. He's the obvious hero to play around and just go to and keep the ball rolling. And they'll do just that in a moment. It looks like Mikoto as well as Jokum are heading up there. Will be spotted by a ward though. NAVI Junior will anticipate this move and evacuate the area.
Down bottom with CPMA. Just trying to get himself back into the game. He's really fallen behind in the network department. Bottom of all the cores by quite some margin, honestly. Thankfully, though, it is a Timbersaw, so he just needs some stacks. But look what they've done in the triangle. They've blocked all his stacks away with the sentries. Now WS is pressuring Ridis, wanting to force him to get out of here with the Icarus dive. If he doesn't, there are other heroes that could come in from behind. But like you said, there is an observer ward, so they should expect this to happen.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
This tower's gone. There's not much to do about it.
The question is,
NAVI
does
Junior
Phoenix
making the
go
right
with?
call to just let it go.
Is under attack.
Though, WS is a little bit hesitant here, but Ridis. Oh, Mikoto's gonna maybe check? No. He'll stick around, tank the tower.
Is under attack.
In the meantime, though, they do find
but
Cuckoo mid. Yeah, but it's whatever, right? You get a tier 1 tower top. Gyro doesn't lose anything middle. They lose Cuckoo, but Ringmaster's already in position to make sure the tower doesn't take any damage. I think you're okay with this.
oh, it's great. It looks very, very nice for Talon here. So now this is what we want to see from Talon to not fall into the same error that they did against Xtreme Gaming, right? Where you do well early in your lanes, you have heroes that are snowbally by nature and skirmishy. You need to not fall into the bad team fights later down the line. Now, Cuckoo just respawned, he's going to die again very quickly after. Unfortunately gets spotted out here by NAVI Junior's heroes.
gone. And they can't really counterplay this, but they do have Ringmaster coming through, like they want to get something back. Unfortunately, there is a Watcher that scouted this move. Mikoto was here. I think they wanted to try and catch Niku. Niku's actually very low in the mana department, only 5 one charges. However, it doesn't seem like they're going to dive onto him. So he should be fine. And he picks up an Arcane Rune. Good times.
Immediately pops it. Not really sure. Okay, he's going for it. This is aggressive. He's just cutting across. I'm not sure what he's aiming for here. They're bringing multiple heroes. Are they going to try to just assassinate Mikoto, maybe?
Dire are scanning.
They don't have... They have 1 dust on Zayats and 1 dust on Riddies. No sentries to place to see Ricky approaching. So you kind of have to wait for him to go first and then dust. Which makes things a lot more complicated than if you can put a sentry trap down. Yeah, they're going to call off that play. That was unlikely to be successful. It's the right read. Not force fights that you can't take. That was one of the mistakes Talon made in game number 1, was very unfavorable fight selection. NAVI Junior not going to fall into the same trap.
Unfortunately, that was a lot of time that they spent not being able to aggress on the map, so they gave a lot of farm up to Talon. But Talon, they're also looking for a kill now. They can catch Zayax here. He's in the trees, and they found him. He knew his death was en route. He's just trying to buy as much time as possible. And he buys a fairly large amount of it. Even though he will eventually die, still dies on the other side of the map instead of on his, so no aggression into towers. And you did draw the Ricky down bottom, away from where the puck is trying to farm and recover in mid. Minutes in, it's a 2k gold lead for the side of Talon Esports. We almost have the Diffusal Blade for the Ricky, and I imagine as soon as they pick that up, you want to start making big moves. But look at this, Puck understanding the assignment. Niku just finished off a 4-star for himself. He knows what happens if you just allow a Ricky to play into you as Puck without itemizing specifically for him.
Yeah, it's the #1 hero in Dota to buy 4-stuff against for yourself, because you can't rely on your teammates once you get shard. You have to just cover your own bases.
Oh, speaking of mid lane, they get a Dream Coil out onto the Pugna. He gets out on the Niku Puck. Okay. So just a drop Dream Coil, draw in a rotation or 2, but now that they know that the ultimate is down, perhaps Talon can do something off the back of this, or do you think they should still continue farming, get themselves to the BKB on the Gyro and the 4 pipe on the Bristleback?
I think trying to play aggressive around the enemy triangle as they're doing right now is probably the limit of what you can pull off right now. I think you can't really force a tower. Perhaps Tormentor is on the cards, actually, with Pugna and Bristle. You could probably do it as 2, even. You can see they're drawing the circle down here with Mikoto. He's saying we need to head down here, start controlling the area. But Zayats is... Oh, he's gating. Like, what's the plan here? Is he hoping to find a stray Ricky up here? Not going to. Mikoto already cut back the other way. Tormentor becomes available now. No killing plans just yet for either side.
Perhaps
Quite quiet
they
game,
get...
honestly, compared to the start that Talon had. It's been surprisingly quiet out here, but we did talk about it. They don't have ganking heroes, right? Until Ricky gets the defusal. But they will get the objective already there.
This is why Zayats went top. The trade is going to be they get the Tormentor, we drop Mass Open Wards and get the tier 1 tower, or at least as much damage onto it as possible. However, the move was a bit late. Niku not going to be nearby, got the juice, didn't want to fully reveal in the wave, so Gyro should be able to clean up quite a few of these Mass Open Wards and get some free gold on top of it. Okay, nicely done. Talon Esports. Not only are they making good moves for themselves, but being able to counter what Navi is trying to do right now as well is pretty solid. Given the fact that you're probably feeling quite comfortable scaling with Bristleback Gyrocopter into the late game.
They are very far ahead in this game, because it's the 6k gold, and it's the fact that the way these lineups interact, Talons should be able to expand this advantage over the next 5 to 10 minutes. They would just be able to get Gyro his next either farming or fighting item, which looks to be a BKB, so they want to take the fights, which is completely fine. And the Ricky is closing in on the shard, and that's when things get really interesting. Then you can just isolate and kill basically every hero except Puck is in trouble. I'm not going to say he can solo Timber or Tiny, that would be disingenuous, but he can do it, but maybe half their health and damage, and his teammates can easily account for the rest.
Radiant's top tower is
NAVI
under
Junior with another offensive move that's not bearing any fruit. They're just not finding any heroes on their smokes.
He did leave behind a little bit of vision from Ridis, so perhaps they can scout a future gank, but for now, they got nothing out of it. They're still gonna make a wandering move here into the triangle. Maybe they get Natsumi here. Natsumi's gonna see them first, and now he gets Hex though. Couldn't get off any spells beforehand, but they do not feel comfortable about continuing this pursuit. Niku doing his best to run away, will be able to dodge the homing missile. Tanks a lot of damage. Oh my goodness. Cooldown gonna be there. Will one of them connect? Oh, barely not. Niku able to get away. Shout out to him with the Waning Rift. So he is fine, but definitely found out very quickly just how strong this gyrocopter is right now.
Yeah, he was reserving his Force Staff in case he was going to get jumped by Riki, I think. Because otherwise he could have copped way less damage than he ended up doing. Riki obviously was not nearby, so... He's still going to stay out on the map, though. Let's see if Mikoto fancies his chances here. He's thinking about it, but no, not going to go for it. And the score remains 4-4 at 18 minutes. Way fewer kills than in game number 1, but just from a raw strategy standpoint, Talon still continue with their game plan and progress.
Oh, top.
remains to be
They
seen.
found the puck. They found him. Will they be able to kill him? Makoto trying to search for him in the trees, but Niku's out. He's fine.
Yeah, that's the good news here for Nico is it's only the Riki that's your problem. So yes, that counter matchup is annoying, but as we already established, you can itemize around it and still play the map quite normally for the puck. Now Got the Juice with the Shadow Blade wants to find some sort of opening. WS will show. Kuku would be a much better target. They see him too late.
Go from escape back will beat on the bristleback, but there's also a supernova plopped down onto the floor. The first person to fall in this fight looks like it might be WS. It actually is the Shadow Shaman, but WS also goes down. However, now that Mikoto has shown up, the rest of these heroes need to get out of here, and they need to get out of here soon. They've already lost the Timber Saw on top of Ridis' Phoenix. So 3-for-1 exchange. They made that jump, but Talon, they were prepared. They were TPing in heroes even before the jump happened. They knew the fight was coming. They baited with the bristle. And his life is a fair trade to continue to expand your advantage.
That was a 4v5 without Navi's anchor, right? They didn't have the puck to keep the fight in one place. So Talon were able to stay pretty mobile on most heroes. Yeah, the bristle ends up dying because he cops all of Timbersaw's combo, but aside from that, oh god, the Juice, this would be a huge pick. No Wheel of Wonder,
Does
though.
have a Shadow Blade. They do have some reveal. Avalanche goes back, though. But they don't manage to hold him in position long enough. He gets out of the smoke screen. Can he TP out of here? No. Zayax goes forward with the Tumbler's Toy, has the range. They interrupt the TP out, and they give the kill to Got the Juice. Good stuff for NAVI Junior. Man, being able to stop these kind of ganks, that's the one thing about this Riki. Normally, you see these Rikis just dominate and terrorize the map. You know, chain killing supports, removing these Spirit-type heroes from the map. But Mikoto hasn't really been able to leverage that aggression. And I think this really hurts picking Riki, right? You're probably thinking to yourself, we could have maybe gone a little bit greedier with the way the game is unfolding.
Yeah, it's very true. When nothing is happening, Riki is losing, right? Because the hero farms very, very slowly. So he's now trailing the puck by 600 after winning the lane and being 3-0 minute 20. He's just, what's that, 35 CS behind a puck that lost its lane, right? So it's inevitable. It's the design of the hero. It's how things are going to work out. If you can't put that much pressure, you'll eventually lose a bit of the momentum. But it's not that big of a concern necessarily because you have other heroes scaling.
Wait,
this is a
he
much
dead?
bigger concern, though. He gets caught.
Is he dead?
That's a
He's
big
dead.
kill. He is
He's
very
dead.
dead. He has all the tiny spells and Got the Juice with a fat bag here.
That's a killing
That's
spree
like
ended as well.
700 gold for him.
At the very least, they get Roche on the other side, so they'll have the Aegis of the Immortal. However, it's Riki not going to be happy. We'll see what he's able to accomplish once he respawns, but Natsumi at least has an Aegis, also has the Crystallis flying into him right now. So despite the Riki not doing well, the rest of his team is still flourishing. Niku in the top lane threw out the Dream Coil. Yokam will not die with the Wheel of Wonder in the opposite direction. Got the Juice, going to be able to TP out. We noted the lack of
Niku,
overall
sneaky.
disables, and Niku comes back for the solitary engagement onto Yokam,
Damn.
steals the shrine, and then TPs out. God level plays from the puck of NAVI Junior.
It's so nice to play against zero stuns on puck, isn't it? You can just pull stuff like that. You're like, yeah, you know, Ringmaster might be going for this shrine. Let me just check. he's there, he kills him, he takes it, he gets out scot-free, and that's about... I mean, that's a decent chunk of Talon's gold lead down the drain. Now you have the Aegis on Gyro, and you really want to find some sort of a good fight where you take the initiative, but the problem is, you have no catch. So Puck will keep cutting waves, Timbersaw will keep cutting waves with his Greaves. He might be punished this time though, the Greaves are on cooldown, trying to TP out, not gonna happen.
Too much damage coming out there from Mikoto on his Ricky. So PMA does go down. Also gonna start building into a 4-staff immediately afterwards. Wants to try to get away from that smoke screen as well.
I think he should have bought it over the Kaya. I actually think this is a bit of an itemization mistake for a game like this on Timber. When you look at the game state and the read that NAVI Junior have on what's going on, I think that was a more obvious choice for Timber. If he wants mech, that's fine. He could also just have gone Arcane Boots mech into Force. But at the very least, recognizing now that this is going to be a necessary item. Of course, in turn, to make Mikoto's Nullifier all that much better once he gets there. But he's going Axe first, so we're talking this is at least 10 to 15 minutes down the line. Ricky Farms. Like Garbaggio.
Garbaggio. Pizza
Are you
Ricky.
supposed to be kidding? No. Yep. Alright, Natsumi will get mid-tower together with Cuckoo. Putting the Aegis to
now-
use. Have yet to see too much damage being done by the Gyro to the enemy team, but he's still ahead of the Tiny by about 1,000 gold. The couple of kills that got the Juice found definitely narrowed that gap. He was trailing by 2 to 3k not too long ago against the Gyro.
To be fair, they've been avoiding this gyrocopter like the plague. They understand his damage output. They are not nearly ready to deal with it just yet, so understandable. Unfortunately, because it is gyrocopter, the time that you give him without encroaching upon him gives him much more gold in the game. Finally go top, just to try and get some of these mass open wards. Mikoto does get brought down though by Zayax in the mid lane. Okay, good work being done by the NAVI Junior supports on the retreat. And they almost got the tier 1 tower, tier 2 tower top. Actually, Niku comes back, takes it, immediately jaunts himself away. Dude, Niku's really taking advantage on the lack of lockdown right now.
I was watching that tower for a full 20 seconds. It had 2 HP and Zayats was not microing his wards. So it was just hitting everything around the tower. Niku was pinging the tower. He's like, yo, Zayats, bro, hit the tower. Zayats was busy. He did not have time to click his wards. And Niku at the end is like, fuck it, I'll get it myself then. Which is honestly probably a better outcome. Now he has the Nullifier on the Puck. A very interesting choice here. Obviously, you want to counter out the Decrepify of the Pugna. And in addition, of course, the box. So double dipping with this Nullifier purchase will allow, in particular, his Tiny to just kill Niku's target of choice. When he coils them, he can nullify them and count on God the Juice to have the juice for the kills. So I really like this item pickup. It's quite unusual build on Puck. How often have you seen this inventory? Force, Witchblade, Nullifier, and I actually really liked it. Oh, this is one of those games. Hex. No follow-up on Mikoto.
Nah, he's gonna be fine. I just went to check the stats. Fastest nullifier all time on Puck, which should not surprise you. You never see this at the beginning of a game.
Yeah, it's pretty unusual.
They
But
have a
showing
couple
good
minutes.
understanding here from NAVI Junior, right? Itemizing.
Yeah.
I really like it. Right, Talon
They
with a massive rainbow TP bottom. Are they smoking here or what?
That's what I'm thinking. But they don't
gotta
actually
be. They're
have
not TP.
any vision of these heroes, so even if you do smoke, like, who do you go onto? You have no vision. At the moment, all of your vision is deep inside on the north side of the map, so absolutely no catch available. Big TPs ended up being wasted. I must say, NAVI Junior have done an incredibly good job of just not allowing themselves to get sucked into the pace of Talon Esports. You know what Talon is trying to do, so just keep spreading the map, have Niku be as annoying as possible on one side, PMA on another. How do you actually catch these heroes as the game continues to scale? You might need like some hexes on top of the nullifiers that they want to build eventually.
I think the Nullifier on Ricky already would make a big difference. And I honestly, the more I see this game play out, the more I disagree with the Aghanim's choice. I know it's standard, but they just need that Nullifier so badly so that they can get something done, right? They have the 8 kills on Ringmaster, which is one thing, but it doesn't seem to be enough. Well, at least they will get another Tormentor. This one will actually go to the Gyros, getting the homing missile upgrade. Interesting. But yeah, this game state will continue for a while. Niku has a gem on the Puck, so he's scared of absolutely nothing. He knows he can't really get caught. He can push very aggressively out on the map, try to find wards. And Talon, oh, this WS play, he needs to not overstay his welcome. He will not. Okay, good TP out. Recognizing the movement coming his way.
The attention was drawn, so it's fine. One thing about that bristleback though, you know, when the game is going extremely well, you're just completely overwhelming them. Things were super nice, but eventually Got the Juice will have access to that silver edge. And then you suddenly do not feel nearly as tanky as you were beforehand. You're suddenly suffering from so much damage. Hell, even this, like, you're caught between a rock and a hard place. As you try to retreat, there's a Chakram Sunray. As you try and advance, you have to deal with the silver edge. Just no good options at that point. So I'm glad they're doing something on the map with the smoke. Do feel like Talon have been maybe a bit too passive given the nature of their lineup, but unfortunately it's as a result of vision. They just don't see where to go. This gem on the park that you mentioned, Niku has not just been moving around the map happily, he's been taking away any offensive options from Talon Esports.
And you're also, for Talon, you're going to be hard pressed to go high ground, right? You can start poking the tower a little bit with Nether Blast, but it's very important that Cuckoo doesn't get jumped by the puck. He's just going to get nullified and burst immediately, and then the push and the fight is kind of over. You can't save him with box, you can't save him with anything. So, approaching high ground is still tricky. They're going to go for a little bit of a trickier play here, though. The smoke up, looking for the backstep, but WS breaks immediately, and this is just the end of that play. Mission failed for Talon. Probably not the hero you want leading that smoke. If you're... Oh, they finally got the juice, but who found Cuckoo? Who got the crap off, just barely.
Fighting over the shrine right now. WS rushing forward. Niku's right behind him. They do find now the nullifier. But where's the follow-up from the rest of NAVI Junior? I don't think they actually want this fight. They did find a Hex out onto Natsumi, who's walking in. Smoke screen dropped onto the ground. They find Zayax almost immediately. Dream Coil Sunray on the back edge. They want WS, but with the life drain from Cuckoo, it's keeping him alive. Eventually, he will fall. And PMA, he's diving forward. Look how much he's accomplishing with his Timber Saw. Big Timber Chain on top of the Chakram. Able to eliminate two. On the other side of the fight, Natsumi doing the same with his Gyrocopter. Ends up being a 3-for-3 affair. Man, very close fight. Gold lead in favor of Talon Esports, but if I'm NAVI Junior and these heroes have to leave my side of the map, my carry, my offlaner are still alive, given how the game is going, I think you're okay with this.
I mean, Niku actually died in that fight. I'm not quite sure what happened for him, but Talon should be happy with that result. They got really unlucky on the side of NAVI Junior. Phoenix dove in as Tiny was tossing someone, and he tossed the Phoenix so the Supernova didn't go off. Phoenix died mid-air to flat cannon shots, so if they get off that Supernova, I think NAVI Junior clean house and lose like 2 heroes in that engage. So that could have been way, way worse for Talon. And I did not really like the way NAVI Junior started that fight. They kind of forced the issue with Zayats just going in first, and they committed everything onto the Bristle. But when all was said and done, that result was actually not too bad. You lost the gem, though, with Puck dying. So that is definitely not the best, but still. Factoring in everything, I'm really surprised NAVI Junior got a 3-for-3 there. Timber did some work.
Got the juice now, is in the mid lane. Enemy team doesn't have to worry about being randomly jumped out of nowhere for now, at least, with the 4-stars. There will be a pause. 3k gold lead for Talon Esports. Experience, it's pretty much neck and neck. So clearly we're not going to be having an end to this game anytime soon, right? So how do you envision the game unfolding as we continue to scale, as we eventually get this BKB for the Ricky, as we get the Hurricane Pike plus Hex eventually for the Puck, maybe Parasma before the Hex? What do you think happens next?
I think Talon are still going to struggle to string a team fight together until Ricky gets Nullifier, and he's not buying it. So, I don't know. The last fight that we just saw, in many ways, were conditions that were really good for Talon. Bristleback was the target. He got to tank up for so long. He got life drained for like 5 straight seconds by Cuckoo. They got to kill the Puck that's almost invincible in this game, and in spite of all of that, it was still a draw. I think you have to find some really cool angles here and ideally assassinate the Phoenix. I think if you're Mikoto, if you can find him first, that's probably the single best target you can get. But right now, they're smoked up as 4 without the Ricky. Roshan's going to cross the river. He'll going to show himself with a dart. Another dart. Another dart. You got one more, buddy? Alright, that'll do for now. Time for Rose. So this is a set location here, but if NAVI Junior were to smoke, which they will, they can definitely access this area. That's the disarm coming out. Scouting with the orb.
Nullifier goes out first onto the Bristol. He dies in the blink of an eye. Natsumi though does have BKB activated. Turns his attention back towards Got the Juice. Ridis with the supernova. It pops. It stuns Natsumi for a moment. And on top of the Wheel of Wonder, he is falling lower and lower. Gyro has enough support behind him to survive for now. Box gets him out of the fight, but Puck comes back and says no. Nuku wants his double kill and he will find it. On the other side of the fight, they do manage to take out Mikoto as well. The lone survivor at the moment being Yokam, and he's not going to survive for long. He ends up going down. It's 5-0. NAVI Junior with the perfect placement of the supernova, isolating the gyrocopter first. They end up demolishing this team fight and earning an Aegis as a reward.
There you go. I do not think this Roche play was the right choice. You just don't have the team composition that just flat out forces this, because you have worse team fight, you have worse setup, you have no area control there. NAVI Junior makes the read that this is happening and they just smoke at them, and the first hero that shows is just Burst Bristol. He doesn't have BKB, so he just dies instantly to Timber, and the fight is almost lost on the spot. It was a valiant effort from Natsumi. He did a ton of damage with his gyro, but he can't do it all alone. If Bristol is dead and Ricky is controlled, there's no damage. And yeah, they just get a full-on flat 5-0 teamfight plus Roche, going the way of NAVI Junior. That's that mid-game teamfight prowess that Talon's lineup just doesn't have. And if you're in this type of position with this type of lineup, I think going Roche is one of the worst plays on the map. You need to get the pick first. Ricky needs to find someone, you kill him off, you get a 5v4, and then you force the Roche on. Not just challenge them, hey, come at us, we're gonna beat you. Well, it was like NAVI Junior were Roshing, you know what I mean? That's almost what it felt like.
Oh, now NAVI Junior control the Radiant Triangle. They're actually rushing forward with Got the Juice. Two
nice
hero
find.
Avalanche. Makoto also caught. Escape back will bail Cuckoo out of trouble. Will get hit with the homing missile. Will they try to pursue him? Wheel of Wonder will be there, but the forced off away ensures that he doesn't have to eat the full burst. At the same time, on the back end, they did find the War Trap onto Cuckoo. They should be able to at least get him. And without a buyback available on this Pugner and an Aegis still in hand for Got the Juice, they might think about putting some pressure onto this tier 3, but his HP pool is a little bit low. We'll see if they feel that confident.
NAVI Junior are under no pressure right now to get something done. That's the luxurious position they're in now. They got past the hard part of the game. Now you can choose to play the lanes, you can play the map, you can just farm up, you can... This is a game that Puck can hard carry, by the way. So it's not just the Tiny that's going to be the carry this game, it's also Niku if he keeps scaling like this. He went into the Hurricane Pike, now he's going Ags. His damage output down the stretch will be massive. You've got the, arguably in many ways, the single most scaling support in the entirety of the game in Phoenix. He's approaching level 18, so you're going to get there too. He has an item coming out. What's that? That is a full Solar Crest for the Tiny. It's starting to look really rough here for Talon. They had a very, very nice early advantage. So honestly, in many ways, kind of a flashback to the series against Xtreme Game number 1. In many ways, this is a similar story. They won early, they got ahead, they take a couple of bad team fights and lose everything immediately, and we're kind of there again.
They all smoked out of their base. They were hoping to try and catch up into the Tiny, but unfortunately the smoke gets broken by Niku on his Puck. He draws out the Rod of Atos as well, and now turning around Dream Coil onto both Makoto as well as Cuckoo. Cuckoo will be the one that gets brought down. Yokam, excuse me. They do toss back, whistle back next to the Supernova, and with a Nullifier on hand, he certainly will end up dead. The Supernova does pop, and the gem that was lost earlier on is now happily recovered for Navi. And here they are on the high ground, potentially forcing out a buyback from the Bristle, but definitely wanting a lane of racks.
If Bristle doesn't buy back, they lose 2 lanes. He's gonna have to do it. Serpent Ward's used on the first lane. They have a banner for the second lane here on Zayats if he wants to drop it in mid. They're opting not to glyph this mid wave, so now no creeps, but still creeps bottom. Doesn't seem to matter much. Zayats, are you going to use the banner at all? Oh, Cuckoo close to being tossed out. The harpoon play.
Tier 3 tower already gone. Got the Juice now. Yes, he has to deal with some of this mischance, but eventually the smoke screen will end and will put the pressure back onto the racks. 20 seconds remain before the Bristleback returns. He really doesn't want to buy back. They're trying to save him from it. Got the Juice, but on the high ground still has an Aegis, however. So even if he dies here, it's not the end of the world. But they get him away from Mikoto, and Mikoto actually finds himself getting hexed. Zayax wants to chase him with the help of Niku. Mikoto almost about to die, barely able to blink away, but Niku says no. Chases him down. Him and the partner will end up falling. Niku now able to escape outside of the base, and neither of the heroes that went down have buyback. The best part about it is they died just as the Bristleback returned. So yes, they saved the buyback, but you still are going to lose your second lane.
Now you might lose a third lane. Because instead of buying back Bristle, now you have a 5v3 instead of the 5v5. So sure, your Bristle stays, gets his BKB now, but the numbers disadvantage is going to be a major problem. You can see Niku just, yeah.
Oh,
you know, how about 5v2? What do you think about that?
Just jump your camp. Shiva's God available. All this magic damage from the puck. He did indeed go for the Parasma, which I love a lot. Massively outputs his damage output, especially with the serrated Shiv as well as his neutral item. So there we go. Now we have Megas and we have a Hex onto Gyro. Oh no, he doesn't have BKB, he doesn't have buyback. The game is just over. WS does have a BKB, but it's not going to matter because eventually this will end. They dropped the banner just
Nice
for
banner.
vision. Zayax, madman that he is. Do they get the vision? Yes, they do. Eventually they catch up to him. WS is gonna fall. He does not have buyback. So even if he does not die here, it doesn't really matter. GG's already been called. Talon